Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with Trek. Big shout out to every single person that has just tapped in, man. I hope you guys are doing well. If this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy videos from all around the internet and kind of evaluate for ourselves whether these are fact or fake. If you haven't already, smash that like button, man. Smash that subscribe button and join the iTrack fam, man. It gets creepy over here. Let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Are we heading to a future where your thoughts may be used to convict you of a crime, or are we already here?
So we're already there. And one of the areas that has already shown up, especially in other countries, but even here in the United States, there are a couple of examples of defendants willingly submitting to P300 interrogation. So P300 is a brain signal that's like before you are conscious of recognizing something, your brain has a little earlier signal of recognition that can be measured by EEG. And so in some criminal cases, people have been shown images of crime scene details that they shouldn't have any recognition or knowledge of. And then what their brain signals reveal have been used as evidence of guilt or innocence against them. In India, this is used quite frequently, a version of this called BIOS, looking at brain oscillation signals. It's been quite controversial, but there's, more than 400 cases that have been documented where this evidence has been used to convict people of crimes, even of murder, based on recognition of a crime scene detail. It's apparently been used in interrogation and in other settings in places like Singapore and the UAE and even in Japan. And so it is the kind of thing that we should not just sort of imagine as a sci-fi scenario. It's already happening across the world.
And you know what? There's a saying that goes, be good or be good at it. Because you know what? Right now, it's pretty obvious that these folks are not playing.
Department of Transportation is taking its foot off the brake, announcing starting this morning, 3% of flights will be cut as opposed to 6%. Now with the government reopened and air traffic controllers receiving 70% of pay yesterday. We've already started to see things normalize. According to FlightAware, more than 600 flights were canceled Friday in the U.S. This morning, the number stands around 300. Disruptive, yet a notable improvement from recent days when cancellations topped 1,000.
A vampire, in practicality of magie, is the spirit of the dead. You can find this in Slavic tradition. There is the strigoi, the moroi. This is making reference to the spirit of the dead, and many have linked this as being the origin of the vampire.
One needs to get ready because the newest update about Atlas 3I changes everything. Scientists and NASA were already really concerned about this strange behavior, but now over the weekend with the Gemini telescope, they took photos of Atlas 3I next to the sun. You know what they saw? They saw it shooting a jet stream into the sun. This comet that people keep calling a comet, or there's nothing to worry about here, there's nothing to see. Obviously there is, because scientists that work for Harvard, NASA, and China are reporting that this is concerning. We have a rogue comet that is shooting some kind of jet stream of material or matter into our sun. Like, this is huge. People need to realize how big of a deal this is. They already said 40% probability it's not natural, means it's made by an intelligent life form. 40% chance, and now it's shooting a jet into our sun. We're going to get more updates. This is huge.
This 3i Atlas situation is slowly creeping its way out of sci-fi and into reality. And if that is some kind of a UAP with extraterrestrials inside, I hope they come in peace. I really do.
Realize where we were born, we come with an assignment. And the bigger the assignment, the stronger the invisible attack. We think the attack comes from strangers, people that are far from us, but the devil doesn't show himself with horns. The reality is you will be shown as family members, friends, and toxic behaviors. And all of them, they just have one mission: to slow you down or stop you from achieving what you are meant to be doing in here. Normally, the one's very, very close to you. Sometimes they are not doing that on purpose. They don't have that intention, but they put themselves in a position that they became a vessel for other entities take over and use the body as a way to slow down the ones that are here to change the world, to make it better, to be the difference. So just pay attention to the signs, because if you don't see who's behind the mask, you will be just playing a game that is not yours. They are just pawns of the game. Don't be disheartened when you see people that you thought were good for you showing up as being the opposite. If you feel like the attack has been heavy on you, it's because your purpose is much higher than all that. So keep going. Just see with the internal eyes. Don't let the 3D trick what this eyes can see.
Hey, something about what she said definitely resonated. We've all experienced it at one point or another, and their story ends up changing the world.
One time I was cutting this guy's hair, and he told me that he worked at a mortuary, and I started asking him different questions about it. What was it like and all that stuff, and he told me that it takes them 60% less time than it took in the 70s and 80s to prepare a body for burial, all because of all the preservatives they put in our food these days. So it's like you're basically already half prepared to be buried even while you're still alive.
You know what, that actually makes a whole lot of sense. With all this fake food going on in America, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense.
The one I've heard many times, a body has set up after being embalmed, or people have seen body parts move.
Surely you've heard that one before, haven't you, Dana?
I've heard that, both of those before. As far as sitting up, when that happens, I'm leaving the room, and I don't care if the door's open or closed.
I don't blame you.
I won't be back. Movement I have seen during the embalming process, and usually it's because the deceased is warm. We're using cool or cold water to mix our fluids with. That hits the arterial system, affects the muscles, and I've seen an arm or a hand move. But nothing after the embalming process has occurred, I'll put it that way.
Caregivers generally live longer because your brain will sense that you're caring for other people, you're social, you're touching people, you're concerned, and it releases a hormone that lets you stay alive. New mothers typically do not die. If you're exercising intensely, it fools the camera into believing that you're hunting prey or building housing, and it says, let's keep this person around longer.
Most people who are possessed, because I don't want to give the impression that this sort of thing just happens out of the blue.
Right.
They have, in some ways, in the vast majority of cases, there are a few exceptions, they have somehow, wittingly or not, invited the demon in. Now, how have they done that? Well, some, like the woman I call in the book by the pseudonym Julia, was one of these rare outright Satanists. And so she worships Satan. She obviously, in some ways, invited a demon upon her, which even though she worshipped and felt that Satan gave her favors, you know, these people are not necessarily crazy. They think they get something out of being a Satanist, otherwise they wouldn't become a Satanist. But she didn't bargain, you could say a literal Faustian bargain. She didn't bargain with getting possessed, and she wanted not to be possessed. But she sort of wanted to have her cake and eat it too. So in some ways, she had explicitly invited the demonic world into her life. Other people don't necessarily do it so explicitly. They may do it through certain superstitious practices where they're attempting to gain knowledge, but they don't understand that the knowledge they're gaining, like people who use tarot cards as an example, these different occult practices, they are, in a sense, again, not necessarily consciously, but they're turning to a realm that is hostile to them.
I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. This is the most insane rainbow ever.
You know what? That quite possibly might have been the clearest rainbow I've ever seen too. And it looked just like it was bouncing off of a dome, right? Let's be honest.
How do you tell apart psychopath and a sincere person?
So I get hired by companies a lot to do kind of employee screenings and all this kind of stuff. They say we want to screen out these guys that have extremely high narcissism, sociopathy, psychopathy. So I developed this like 5-page checklist, and then I gave it to them. And they're like, no, we mean just what's one question we can ask? And of course they want, like, we want instant, immediate results. Like there's some kind of Harry Potter wizard spell that they can do that's going to reveal this person. So it took me a while, but we came up with the question. And the question is, what's the biggest thing you learned about yourself in that stressful time, that experience, that past relationship? So for some people, they're going to say, well, I have a tendency to overdo things, or I have, I lost my temper, or I did something wrong, and you'll get genuine lessons from most people. But with the other people, you're a lot more likely to hear things like, I learned that I shouldn't trust companies right away. I should be a little more skeptical about what I'm getting myself into. So you're going to hear like all kinds of blame shifting, even in the relationship question. Like, well, I learned that I shouldn't open myself up to a partner right away because they're going to cheat on me. They're going to lie to me. So it's always somebody else's fault. That's to this day, that's the first thing that they ask in interviews.
Now, if you're paying attention, he was definitely dropping gems on what to ask the next person you decide on dating. Like, that'll be the first question if you ask me.
Family. Listen. Family desire to keep you down, all right? Listen, let me tell you something, right? My family won't understand. They won't love me unless I stay the same person they always seen. The moment I change, they tell me it ain't right, all right? Listen, let me tell you this. People will support you when you bad, when something is wrong. That's what I mean, right? Let me go home, I lost my job. Oh, it's gonna be okay, you're gonna be okay. Let me go to jail. Oh, we're gonna take care of you. But let me start winning. That nigga think he better than everybody, right? Fuck that nigga, he think he too good, right? But they gonna support you when you down, but at your highest, they won't support you. Now, come on, gang. And that's what family do.
Creating modern day Nephilim. They are absolutely, Satan's outnumbered 2 to 1. He's building an army. And the motive for that is corrupt the human bloodline, the DNA, the genetics, just as they were in the days of Noah. So here we are back again as in the days of Noah. And then the other thing is, if you've got people who are thinking, oh, these are benevolent space brothers, they're signing up and they're like, I want to be one of the people who carries one of these alien babies. There are people who really do say that. And so you've got people on this bandwagon. The more people they can get to do that, the more modern day Nephilim they can introduce into society. They are going to be able to draw people away from the truth.
Sushi is the ultimate way you're going to catch parasite eggs.
Guaranteed.
Yes.
If you've been eating sushi, you have parasites.
Like, beyond guaranteed. I will give you every dollar I have if you do a thorough parasite cleanse and don't see one if you're a sushi eater.
Pissed.
Because of sushi?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, all right? I have become like a wizard with parasites, all right? My own personal experience, I'm not a scientific wizard, but I am a wizard when it comes to like killing these things in my own body, all right? And I help a few people here too with it, all right?
A lot of people.
But let me say, if I eat sushi, I will have an itchy anus within 24 hours. And that I know is replication.
Hey, how unfortunate is that? Sushi is so delicious. Can't look at it the same.
There's no other explanation. How do you explain the fact that this quantum computer can do something that no classical computer can ever do? How do you explain it? Where is it doing the math?
Oh
right?
My God.
And he would say it's doing it in the multiple universes.
Just what you just said. It's so crazy.
But the explanation for how it's doing it, a picture which many people in the field, not everyone, many people would say is the correct, is what it's doing is the calculations in multiple universes. So it's accessing the fact that there's an interpretation of quantum mechanics called the many worlds interpretation, where you're to imagine these, infinite, pretty much, sea of universes.
Freemasons wear this apron because it originates from stonemasons. Stonemasons wore these aprons to protect themselves from any flying chips when carving stone. But in Freemasonry, this is allegorical. The stone that you are carving in Freemasonry is yourself. You are perfecting the stone. You are perfecting your mind and heart, your brain and heart, because the stonework is taking place on the individual's consciousness to gain self-mastery and a higher consciousness. The apron is worn over the genital areas, which represents the centers and the energies that are associated with the lower self, such as eating, sexual pleasure, and power. Apron is a reminder to gain control over the lower self, hence why there is an eye placed on the apron sometimes. The eye is a symbol of being conscious, being aware. This is a Masonic reminder of the Masonic work, perfecting the self and gaining control over the lower desires and impulses, so they can climb the ladder towards higher consciousness and higher understanding of the self. Book of Symbolism is now available on revivalofwisdom.com or the link in my bio. Thank you everyone for your support.
After this, they all rushed inside. The group of friends were just relaxing outside their house while talking, when their doorbell camera captures something strange that left them completely shaken up.
Inside, Kaylee, go! Kaylee, go! I'm not going. He's gonna grab his keys and you're gonna have to leave me.
What the fuck was that? A creepy whisper can be heard from behind the girls, causing them all to go inside. Then another whisper says, "Shut the door."
What the fuck was that?
The group was so creeped out because there was nobody behind the girls when they looked. It was as if the voice came from nowhere, like someone or something tried to lure them out into the darkness.
Obviously, it had to have been the last guy that followed the two chicks in there, right? Because he seemed to have popped up out of nowhere. You know, he probably was doing the shady stuff.
Chinese government hackers just did something that's never been done before, and 4 major companies got breached because of it. They used Anthropic's AI tool Claude to fully automate cyber espionage. No human team needed, just AI running attacks on its own. Here's how it worked. They tricked Claude into thinking it was doing cybersecurity testing for a legitimate company, then they broke malicious requests into small, harmless-sounding tasks. Claude scanned target systems, wrote exploit code, harvested passwords, and created backdoors all by itself. The AI made thousands of attack attempts per second, impossible for any human hacker to match. They successfully breached tech companies, banks, and government agencies. Anthropic caught them and shut them down, but they're warning this is just the beginning, that the technique is now proven and other hackers will copy it.
I've watched what the psychics do, and they're doing something.
There's something to it.
Well, if you know Tyler Henry, isn't that the Hollywood?
Yes, yeah.
So I wired him up with a EEG thing while he was reading Steve-O, and what the neuroscientist and I were looking at, and he'd never seen an EEG that looked like that before. He was at once hyper vigilantly awake and asleep. He was like, wild. I cannot explain this. And if you know Tyler, he sweats like crazy, meaning that the autonomic nervous system is also involved, and his heart rate goes way down when he's into it. And that fits with what I see Cindy and her type doing.
Yeah.
They're tuning into something, they're going to a different state than I'm used to, and they have abnormal eye movements, like non-biological eye movements. Something is going on.
Spike in young people being diagnosed with dementia is being blamed on excessive internet use. Aussie doctors revealing people in their 20s and 30s are being diagnosed more than ever, with a 400% increase in people between 30 and 44. Top researchers say devices and social media use are tied to impairments in memory and also attention span.
Hey, now that's extremely concerning, because out of all the mental illnesses, schizophrenia and dementia to me are the saddest, because you're watching somebody slowly deteriorate. Now, I couldn't imagine being 30 and 40 years old, you know, slowly deteriorating when you still have so much life to live. That's pretty crazy.
People who are autistic have a different type of cognitive process. They tend to be really superior pattern recognizers. They're able to connect the dots. Some of them are visual spatial thinkers, so they're able to design something in their mind and manipulate it within their mind before they even build it. People who are visual spatial thinkers make great engineers. Nikola Tesla was somebody who could do that. That type of thinking is extremely efficient at solving a lot of problems versus verbal thinking, which is what most neurotypical people are, is they think in words, they think in language. And the problem with language is it's very linear. Language can also be very deceptive. We can talk ourselves into or talk other people into believing something that really isn't true, all through language. Whereas with these other processing styles, it's more like pure perception.
Okay, so have y'all ever heard of the people who are born with abilities so rare and unique that even science can't explain it, as if they're
they are quite literally straight out of the Avengers. Starting off with Wim Hof, they call him the cold-resistant human because he has been able to withstand freezing temperatures for hours, quite literally able to control his nervous system and his immune response, which is something that scientists thought that no human could do. How insane is that? Then there's Stephen Wiltshire, who is a human camera because mans can look at a city skyline and draw it in full detail from memory with no reference, no phone, just straight mental processing power. And neurologists have actually said that his memory ability is on a level rarely ever seen on Earth. Now, Natasha Demnica is actually one of the strangest modern mysteries to this day because she claims to have X-ray vision from when she was a teenager, stating that she could look inside bodies just by staring at people and determine medical issues. And even though when they tested her she had mixed results, this was never fully debunked. So till this day, she still claims that she can actually use her X-ray vision to diagnose people. Number 4 is Dean Karnazes, who is the ultra endurance machine because mans once ran 350 miles straight with no sleep. Now they say that he produces energy differently the way his muscles are set up, allowing him to run intensities that would shut down the average human. And doctors say his recovery rate is unlike anything they've ever studied. Then there's Elizabeth Sulzer, and she has multisensory processing, so instead of just hearing music, she actually sees it in colors and shapes, and brain scans have actually confirmed that, stating that her abilities are something that the average human cannot even begin to imagine. And lastly, there's Gabby Gingras, who was born without pain sensation. She was actually born with a rare condition called congenital insensitivity to pain, so her body actually just does not register any pain signals, and she is one of the few in the entire world that actually has this. These types of abilities just confirm how incredible humans are. However, it makes me question what other powers out there have been discovered that are so intense that it's probably being kept from the public. What do y'all think about this? And if you could have any power, what would it be? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you don't know what I'm talking about, save this video, go look into some of these people, come back, let me know what you think. Also, let me know if you want a part 2 of this. And per usual, this is all alleged, can't confirm or deny anything, so I always implore you guys to do your research. But I'll be back, so like, follow, and stay for some more.
Now, the woman that says she can see and hear music, that definitely makes sense. I remember Kanye saying the same thing. He said he sees music in color. So I'm noticing patterns here. That must be a thing.
Yeah. You only get so many chances in life, right? I know a lot of people don't believe in the Bible. The Bible was kind of like fucked up, but the Bible do say one thing. Certain sins lead to death. Though we know energy don't die, it transfer, but you're gonna forget. So before you go through all that and forget, learn how to let shit go, right? What's wrong with mama? Stop playing on me. And speaking of letting shit go.
Remember, you can't tell everybody everything you know. Most people aren't ready to hear the truth. A guy's girlfriend once was texting me, and I showed him the text. I said, you gotta break up with this woman. She's texting me that she likes me, not you. Instead of him appreciating it, he got mad at me, not her. I was like, what? Like Jesus Christ said, do not throw your pearls to swine, lest they eat them and then turn and bite you. Not only will people not be happy when you tell them the truth when they're not ready, but they're going to get angry at you. So be careful. Only tell your truth to people who are worthy and ready to hear.
Boy, was he preaching to the choir. I had to learn that growing up. I'm a very straight shooter. I've always been that way. But I had to learn quickly that everybody's not accepting of the truth, or nor do they want to hear it. Some people, it's better to just let them live in their own ignorant bliss than for you to go and pop their bubble with the actual truth. It'll come back to bite you.
Y'all look, it's a pink spider, bro. What the f? Y'all ever seen a pink spider, bro? That shit is crazy. Like, what? That is so crazy. Look at that big dog.
You know what might just be scandalous about that clip? I think I see remnants of pink paint or pink spray paint on the ground and like around. Don't tell me that man spray painted that spider, right? Just for the TikTok. Scandalous.
Karma tells us that when you kill a bug, you're actually killing a past criminal and sending them into a deeper ring of hell for God's judgment.
The pictures of people being executed, but he also had a mask in the shoebox, and he pulled this mask out, and the mask was a human face, but the human face had the eyes in it, and it was warm. And the back of the mask had an imprint that looked like scales. And so this was very bizarre.
Guys, the English word alien is first recorded in early 14th century, and it meant outsider. The way we know of it today came about in 1920 through the popularity of science fiction. So what did we call these things before then? I'll tell you. Spirit, demon, entity, fallen angel, and that's exactly what they are. Now I don't know if what this guy is saying is real, but I know that these things are real, and you need to know that too, because you need to know the enemy and the spiritual battle that we are in. And that's why we wear the full armor of God.
Did you know that it is impossible for the human mind to remain objective and unbiased? In other words, we're literally all hypocrites, every single one of us. No matter how bad that you want to believe that your opinions and morals were drawn off of objective conclusions, this simply is not true.
Not even on the top 100 highest mountains. No one, as far as we know, in history has ever summited the mountain. There was these men from Siberia in the late 1900s. They're like, we're going to summit this mountain. And so they started going up, but they realized hours into the journey that they were aging. So their hair and nails had grown within hours that would equate to them being on the mountain for weeks or months at a time. Not even a year after they climbed this mountain, they all died, and their signs of death were old age, but they're all young dudes, like 20s and 30s. This is what's crazy. In the 1990s, Russian and Siberian scientists started publishing wild research papers claiming that Kailash is a gigantic ancient pyramid. So they believe that Mount Kailash is not natural. They argue its perfect geometric shape and cardinal alignments are too precise for nature. And the hypothesis is that it's a massive ancient pyramid, possibly the oldest and largest on Earth.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Vanderbilt's effectively told their heirs, your job, your sole purpose on this planet is to spend more money than anyone else.
Speaking of staying rich, one of the stories we talked about last night was the Vanderbilts and how they basically blew a $400 billion fortune.
If you look at all of the robber baron, very wealthy families, the Carnegies, the JP Morgans, the Fords, the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, I think virtually all of them did well or did a decent job at managing that dynastic money, except the Vanderbilts. The Vanderbilts completely and utterly botched it. The stat is, when Cornelius Vanderbilt died, his net worth, adjusted for inflation, because he died in the 1800s, was the equivalent of $400 billion. And in 3 generations, there was nothing left, which is an astounding thing to think about. And in between there sat 3 generations who just blew money in the dumbest ways you can imagine. And the reason you could say it was dumb is because I don't think any of them were happy. I think they were pretty much all miserable. The Vanderbilts effectively told their heirs, your job, your sole purpose on this planet is to spend more money than anyone else. And so they did it. And they were all miserable for it. And the story that a lot of people know now is that the first Vanderbilt heir to not get any money, when all the money was exhausted, the first heir where there was nothing left was Anderson Cooper of CNN. And Cooper is not only the most successful Vanderbilt heir in like 180 years, he's probably the happiest. And he's talked about this, that money that you are given, that you inherit, can be a burden to your ambition, a burden to your identity of building a name for yourself. He's just like, I gotta build my own name and my own career.
First of all, blowing $400 billion is crazy work. I mean, crazy work. I don't know what you're buying. You must be burning it or throwing it away. Secondly, there's definitely an art to keeping money in the family. I've personally witnessed generations of families try to, pass down lump sums of money, and it all just evaporates. You got to prepare for the money. You got to respect the money, or you're left with nothing and you're hurting out here.
Top 5 rarest human traits. Number 5 is the ability to flare your nostrils like a bull. 30% of people can do this. I can do it, but I can't do it without raising my eyebrows. I don't know if that counts. Number 4, we've got the clover leaf tongue. 14% of people can do this. Let me tell you, the first time I saw this little girl do that when I was a child, I looked at that girl and I said, you, honey, are the devil. Number 3, super sleeper. 5% of people are super sleepers. They can get by on 4 to 6 hours of sleep a night. Now, I can get by on that, but I wouldn't want to interact with me if I had to do that because I would be cranky. Number 2, ear wigglers. 22% of people are ear wigglers. I can kind of do it. Anyway, if you like this list and want more about other nonsense, follow me. Leave me a comment if you have any of these traits or a rare trait. Also follow my wife, Samantha, who I've tagged. Check out our podcast, Brutally Honest with Sam and Jacob. And book me on Cameo if you want a personal message. Number 1, 32% of people have the old hitchhiker's thumb.
I can definitely run off of 3-4 hours of sleep, but not for multiple days at a time. Nah.
I heard you say I think on Tasha K's platform, I heard you say that there's certain people that you can't necessarily put a hex on or curse.
Very small amount of people. Most people can be hexed.
Who are the people that cannot be hexed?
They're people that are living in their truth, and they're actually connected to God in whatever way that is, consistently, constantly, and walking in that. Most people are not doing that. They're not doing that.
That's interesting. This is very interesting, right?
So a witch said those who are connected to God can't be cursed. Well, what is the way to be connected to God? Truly being imparted and engrafted with Christ. Truly having the word being engrafted inside of you, which is Christ growing in you. In other words, just like many ex-Satanists, when they tell you there's a group of Christians praying, they can't go to those Christians when they're astral projecting. They are partaking in an act being connected to God. Now, as far as this witch is saying, she cannot put hexes on people. She is talking about true Christians. She said there are very few. What does it say in the word? Many are called, few are chosen.
Now, she didn't say you had to be Christian, but she did say you definitely had to have a strong connection with God. But hey, it's up to interpretation. You can interpret it how you want to.
What you're looking at right here is an ancient sacred drawing for the Vanuatu. So they draw specific geometric patterns for different beliefs, and they believe that their ancestors used these drawings to communicate and to tap into the spiritual world. Now, this drawing is quite literally guided by spirit. This is how he knows how to do it perfectly. It is sacred geometry, and wait till you see what it forms at the end. I have sped this video up a little bit just for the sake of this video, and so it's not so long. I think it's over 3 minutes long originally, but he knows exactly where to go with this. He's being guided by spirit, being guided by his ancestors, and it looks like he's drawing some sort of arc. It's a very interesting drawing. Have a look at this, guys. Let us know what you think this is in the comments down below. Peace and love.
Over the years, I noticed something strange happens to a lot of Disney and Nickelodeon stars. They start off like full of light, full of energy, and then suddenly their whole energy changes. Let's take Zendaya, for example. Like, over the years, she appeared in more one-eye imagery and even admitted to wishing she read her contracts.
What would you tell other performers navigating fame at a similar age?
Read the contracts. No matter how boring they are, read the contracts.
Now, of course, that could mean finances, but when you know how the industry works, you start to wonder what else people sign away. Then you've got Yara Shahidi, who played in Grownish, and she did some one-eye imagery, but I only found 2 total. So she's, for the most part, pretty private, pretty classy, and almost untouchable. But then her co-star, Marcy Martin, if I'm saying her name right, has also been using the same symbolic imagery. Interesting how they all end up in the same circle. And then you have Ariana Grande. After working under Dan Snyder, the man behind Victorious, who was later exposed for his inappropriate behavior, people started to rewatch her old clips and noticed how uncomfortable she looked.
That was amazing. That was one of the better things I've ever heard.
Hey!
Hi, what's going on here? Why are you sitting on the floor of the set?
And her story is really a whole rabbit hole in itself, but if you want a part 2, let me know in the comment. But basically, not too long after this, her image took a darker turn. When she did the movie Wicked, she literally began to look the part, even hinting in an interview that she leans into her witchy side. I do also want to talk about Keke Palmer, but I don't think y'all ready for that.
Maybe the one-eye symbolism is just a coincidence, right? Just a coincidence.
So can these strange lights heal your body? Well, according to Tony Robbins, they could. Let's find out.
And so they put these 16, they built it in, it looked beautiful. I was in there for only like 20 minutes.
dropping down, like relaxed, but like more relaxed than I was ready for.
So you're saying after one night when you slept in her 24-unit system, that pain went away?
Yes. My whole view was, even if it was a placebo, if it worked, why would you use it, right? But this seems to go beyond placebo.
To find out if this is placebo or not, I went to the nearest office with the EES system. Here is Anand, the founder of Om Life Spa, where he explains how it works.
What's happening is we have 6 screens on each computer tower. So as this light coming off these screens, they're all colliding to create a field of energy. When your body enters this field, it's now going to start charging. 70 to 90 millivolts is the optimal state for your cells, allowing that body to relax, go into homeostasis, to start self-repair mode. We have people coming with all different types of ailments, and they're all seeing benefits because of higher increase in cellular charge.
When I first came in here and tried it for the first time, because I was curious, it did feel like I was awake, but in a deep meditative state.
We're located, our physical location here is in downtown Jersey City, in the closest 24-unit center, which is the optimal size center that you want to come into to really experience those benefits.
So is this placebo or not? Well, I've been coming to this exact EES system office for over a year because I was curious and skeptical. And every time I come out of the system, I do notice improvements in my mental clarity and energy right away. If you're ever in the New York City area, I recommend coming in to try it for yourself. Comment EES down below and I'll send you a special discount code.
10,000 year clock is a physical clock of monumental scale. It's about 500 feet tall. It's inside a mountain in West Texas in a chamber that's about 12 feet in diameter and 500 feet tall. 10,000 year clock is an idea conceived by a brilliant guy named Danny Hillis way back in the 80s. The idea is to build a clock as a symbol for long-term thinking. And you can kind of just very conceptually think of the 10,000 year clock as it ticks once a year. It chimes once, every 100 years, and the cuckoo comes out once every 1,000 years. So it just sort of slows everything down. And it's a completely mechanical clock. It is designed to last 10,000 years with no human intervention. So the material choices and everything else. It's in a remote location, both to protect it, but also so that visitors have to kind of make a pilgrimage.
So I guess that's just what you do when you're a billionaire, right? You spend $42 million on a clock. All right, okay.
Treat? You want a treat, buddy? You want a treat? Got your ass.
Celebrities have a lot of name. And of course, Logan Paul was sued a ton of times for the CryptoZoo thing and agreed to pay back $1 million.
Said, I had a dream the other night. My car door was on fire and I refused to acknowledge it. People kept coming into my house to tell me, but I refused to come outside until it was too late. So, not a good dream. When we see damage, physical damage to property, houses or cars, it's typically a health warning. And fire in dreams is about the heart and circulatory system and emotion. So if you have a suspicion that there's an issue in that area, then get attention, get medical attention, go for a checkup. The dreams usually come to us well in advance, so there's still plenty of time for us to do something about it. I mean, years even in advance sometimes, but I'm not trying to say to you, you've got years. If I had this dream, I would be watching all the rest of my dreams to see what else is going on to figure it out. But I would definitely go for a checkup. And again, like I said, it's in the area of heart and circulatory system. So check blood pressure, check things like that. You don't say which door, so I can't really talk about that. Apologies.
What if I told you there's a mystery school where members study angelology, practice dream interpretation as a spiritual discipline, and use numerology and alchemy to literally work their way back to union with God, and that they're still initiating people worldwide today? So in my last few videos, I covered the Golden Dawn, OTO, and a bunch of other mystery schools. So if you're into that kind of thing, make sure you go and check those out. But today we are diving into the traditional Martinist order. So this group was founded in 1891 by a French doctor and ceremonial magician named Pappas, but on this one, I'm going to put the history aside for a minute so we can spend more time talking about what they actually do because it's fascinating. So the whole system revolves around this concept called reintegration, essentially that humanity fell from divine unity and every practice that they do is designed to return you to that original state of oneness with God. And the way they do this? Through some seriously deep esoteric study. So first, they work heavily with Kabbalah. We're talking the Tree of Life, divine names, mystical meditation on Hebrew letters, and all the like. They also study angelology and learn to work with angelic hierarchies as intermediaries between humans and the divine. They practice alchemy, but not just the physical kind. Spiritual alchemy, transforming the self from base material into spiritual gold. They study the cycles of humanity, understanding where we came from and where we're collectively headed. Numerology is also huge for them. Numbers aren't just math. They're sacred keys to understanding divine purpose and cosmic patterns. They work with mystical symbols, decoding hidden messages, and everything from tarot to sacred geometry. And here's what's wild. They actually take dreams and visions seriously as actual spiritual communication. Members keep dream journals, learn to interpret visions, and use them as guidance on their path back to God. Their system has 3 degrees: Associate, Initiate, and Superior in Kanu, the unknown superior. But unlike lodge-based orders, initiations happen privately, often just one-on-one. It's personal, intimate transmission of knowledge that's been passed down through an unbroken chain since the 1700s. Now, the Martinists blend Christian mysticism with Jewish Kabbalah, so you get this unique fusion where you're meditating on Christ consciousness while working with the Tree of Life. You're doing prayer, contemplation, and meditation, and it's really all about direct mystical experience, not just book learning. And today, they actually have lodges operating globally in the UK, North America, and Europe, still teaching the same practices, still doing private initiations, and still working toward that reintegration with the divine. So, yeah, a mystery school where you study alchemy, angelology, sacred numerology, interpret your dreams as divine messages, and work through Kabbalistic practices to literally reunite with God is still out there doing it today. So if you want more deep dives into what these mystery schools actually practice, smash that like button and drop your thoughts on Martinism in the comments because I really want to know what you think. And make sure you follow for more. Until next time.
Hey, these schools are so sacred that you wouldn't hear about them anywhere else except this channel.
All right, y'all. We're at a 4-star hotel in Boca Raton, Florida. And we were looking at the covers. And when the sunlight specifically hit the covers, look at what we seen. This is unacceptable and disgusting. But as you can see on this side, when there's no sunlight, it looks like it's clean. But look at when there's sunlight. Wow.
Not to get spiritual. What's done in the dark.
Listen, hey, listen.
What's the name of this hotel?
The Hilton Boca Raton Suites. 4 stars.
Well, Boca does me home of the rat.
Listen, this is disgusting. No, thank you.
From my view, it looked like feathers. Like, it looked like the kind of comforter that had the feathers in it, and you just hold it up to the light and you just see the feathers. Or was that just some kind of mold, or am I missing something? Fill me in. Definitely fill me in. Well, you guys, that's another one in the books, man. I appreciate you guys and stopping by it again and watching another one with me. If you haven't already, make sure to smash that like button for me. If you're not already a part of the iTracks fam, smash that subscribe button and join up, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.